Hey guys, today we're going to be getting into a little restringing of a couple of my acoustic guitars, and I think I'm going to restring one of my electric guitars too. And where I'm going with that is I want to get into and introduce you guys to what they call Nashville tuning. And regular six-string guitars, not expensive guitars by any stretch of the matter. We are simply going to make that sound like a 12-string guitar with the Nashville tuning, and going to apply a couple of sets of strings, and I'm going to actually use 3 guitars to do this, and we're going to double track them, and we're going to get all kinds of things going on in Studio One. And we are going to tackle the song Free Fallin' by Tom Petty. And it's not going to be the whole song. I don't want to get a copyright strike against me, so once I will finish the full song, I will get the licensing rights for it, and then we will release it at that point. But I think this is pretty instrumental, and how do you go about getting that tone? And it's going to be quite exciting. So that and more is coming up right after this. Okay guys, welcome back. Sean from Adelaide Studios, and like I said, in this episode we're doing this Nashville 12-string tuning on 6-string guitars, and we're going to play with that. And I do apologize if this sound isn't the greatest. I've purchased a lavalier mic so I can try to capture the camera when I'm out vlogging and things like that. And it runs through my iPhone. And because my audio on my camera sucks, and I think you guys know that if you watch my channel. I'm not impressed with this right off the hop, and I'll show you why. Because this cord is going to my lapel microphone here, and watch what happens to the audio when I tap this. Isn't that crazy stupid? Like, I can't even move because you hear that thump 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 every time something touches this non-insulated wire, if you will. But I need to try it out and see how it goes, and I think going forward I will use something different in that respect. Anyways, on to the show here. I've opened up the strings. I've removed my strings from my Cork guitar, and I've opened up the new set of strings, and what I've got going here are a set of 12-string 12-string acoustic guitar strings, and they are the light gauge, and they go from 10s to 50s, I believe is what it says on the package here. And the idea behind that, about putting a 12-string on a 6-string, is I'm going to take, they come in sets of 2, right? So 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, right? But they're all color coded, and they all have a matching pair. And when I say a matching pair, you know, the lower one is braided harder or more than the thin one here. But those 2 are E strings, these 2 are A strings, and etc. So what I'm going to do with this guitar is I'm going to take the thicker strings, and I'm going to apply them to this guitar tuned E, A, D, G, B, and E. And then the thinner set of strings I'm going to put on my other acoustic guitar. And that guitar is going to be the Nashville tuned guitar. It's still tuned the same way, E, A, D, G, B, and E, with the exception of the bottom 4 strings on the other guitar. It still will be an E, but it'll be octave E, octave A, octave D, octave G, and then a regular B and a regular E. And that's the jingle jangle Nashville. That's the way to get that Nashville sound. And we will show that to you when we dive into Studio One, like I prefaced this video. We'll dive into Studio One, and one of my all-time favorite tones in that Nashville tuning is Free Fallin' by Tom Petty. And I'm going to do some layering with that, with getting the guitars and getting the sound going with that, and just getting it nice and well-rounded with, like, hopefully 0 plugins on that. It'll just fill out on its own. And on my I'm going to also string up my my Strat. I've got a beautiful Strat here that's kind of hot rodded out, American Strat, and it's got a Pura neck on it, which is really, really nice. And what I'm going to put on that is I'm going to try these southbound made Nashville strings on that guitar. And these are actually made for a lap steel, but I'm not going to put them on my lap steel. I'm going to put them on my Fender and see what happens there. And again, those will be tuned to Nashville. And so with those 3 guitars, we're going to do like 6 tracks. We're going to double them all up, but we're going to get that beautiful, beautiful, I'm thinking 6 tracks. Let's see. Actually, I might do 8 tracks because there's a little bit of finger picking in there, and I want to kind of do mandolin style type thing. And anyways, we're gonna put, let's say, 8 tracks into Studio One, and we're gonna get this Tom Petty song just come to life. Okay, so I'll cut out of the video here right now, and I will just quickly get this stuff all strung up, and then I'll see you once that's finished, and we'll start laying some tracks. Okay, guys, got all the strings changed on 4 guitars. So I've got my Cort guitar, acoustic guitar. I've got a Fender acoustic. I've got a Fender Strat that I'll show you guys here right away. And also got my Peavy Wolfgang edition Eddie Van Halen guitar. Okay, so I got my 4 guitars. And we're going to layer them today, and we're going to do, like I said previous, we're going to do Free Fallin' by Tom Petty, and how you layer all those guitars together to get such a massive sound. I'm going to point out I'm using a 57 microphone right here that I'm going to capture all these tones acoustically and only doing 1 track for each specific tone, and then it's how you pan them and put them in the stereo spectrum that's going to make this sound so wide. And when I go to my electric guitars, I will I've actually got that DI red box straight into my computer, and that's how we're going to capture those tones and accomplish that, rather than trying to mic this up in the room, which you can get some great tones out of that when you mic it up. But, you know, for the sake of trying to keep the dull roar down to a minimum here, the red box is pretty good too for DI. Okay, first thing I'm going to show you is my Cort guitar. And we're using a capo because this song is in F. And rather than tuning my whole rack up, I'm just going to use my capo. I'll be using it in a couple different positions here. And using the 57 microphone about 10 inches away, and all my acoustic recordings are going to be from this sole source. And let's get this track down, and this one's going to be panned hard left in the final mix. So here we go. Okay, so for the second track, we're going to use my Cort guitar again. This time I've moved the capo up to the G position on the 3rd fret. And why we're doing that is because we're panning this tone on my regular 6 string hard right, 100%. And you'll hear that in the final mix, and we'll show you how that comes together. So you're going to get a tone like this. So it's going to be... That's kind of what we're looking for, and that's going to be sitting in the right-hand speaker. So let's go. Okay, the next guitar up is my trusty Fender. Again, with the capo in the regular position, we'll call this, which is the F position. But this guitar is Nashville tuned, which sounds like this. Nice and jingle jangle. So we've got octave E, octave A, octave D, octave G, then a regular B, and a regular E. Sounds so nice and pretty and uplifting. So we'll go ahead and we'll lay this track. This track is going to sit in the mix at 80% left to complement the Cort regular tuned guitar. So check out how this sounds. Okay, so the next track, number 4, we're on here. Now I'm going to take the capo, move it to the G position, as I'm doing here. And this is going to give us the other jingle jangle in the right side of the speaker, sitting 80% to accompany the other tones that we've already laid in there. And chording is going to be a little bit different, so we're going to just play a different shape, but it's the same chords. So that's going to sound like this by itself. Okay, be nice and pretty, and here we go. Let's do this. Okay, so the 5th track, as the song is coming together, is going to go back to my Cort, because 4 bars after the song starts, there's a middle dynamic of a very soft, light guitar that's going to be, and it's just a regular tuned guitar, so we're going to move the capo back down to the F spot. And in this particular part, I moved from the 57, and I actually used my 530 condenser mic here. And I sat about, I put it up pretty high over top of my body. So I wanted a thin sounding, quaint in the background. This is going to sit on the right hand side of the stereo spectrum at about 10%, not to take away from the vocal, which is going to go right up the pipe. And I always put my my bass at about 10% on the left side in the stereo spectrum, and then the kick obviously is right down the middle. So I want to leave room for that in with those frequencies. Not that this is going to borrow from those frequencies, but I just kind of want to leave the room for it to breathe. So using the 530 just to catch that room sound, and that again, it comes in 4 bars after the song starts. So that sounds something like this.